friends, look around you. Look at the person to your left, to your right. Look at your own hands. Every single one of us, at some point, will face a moment when the ground beneath our feet gives way. The phone call that changes everything. The diagnosis that steals your breath. The loss that hollows you out. The dream that shatters into 1,000 pieces. It's in these moments we ask the only question that matters: how do I survive this? The first thing you must know is this: survival is not about grace. It is not about keeping a smile on your face or a stiff upper lip. Survival is messy. It's ugly. It's waking up in the morning with a weight on your chest so heavy you can barely breathe. It's the days you forget to eat and the nights you can't sleep. So, if that's where you are right now, I'm not going to tell you to stay positive. I'm going to give you a real, raw, and honest map for the wilderness you find yourself in. The most dangerous thing you can do when the world is collapsing around you is to look at the horizon. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? We're taught to keep our eyes on the prize, to have a 5-year plan, to envision our future. But when that future has just been obliterated, when the prize has been revealed to be an illusion, the horizon is a terrifying, empty expanse. It's a void that swallows hope and amplifies fear. The sheer scale of it all, the thought of getting through the next month, the next year, the rest of your life without what you've lost, is paralyzing. It freezes you in your tracks, making even the smallest action feel impossible. This is why the first and most critical rule of survival is to shrink your world. Deliberately, ruthlessly, and with immense self-compassion, you must pull your focus from that terrifying horizon and bring it so close that all you can see is the next single step. This is not a philosophy of giving up. This is not settling for less. This is the tactical wisdom of a soldier in a foxhole. They are not thinking about winning the entire war in that moment. They are thinking about securing their position, loading their rifle, and getting through the next barrage. Your emotional and psychological survival operates on the exact same principle. The war is the totality of your grief, your financial ruin, your heartbreak, your failure. You cannot fight it all at once. It will annihilate you. So you must break it down into engagements you can actually win. And the first and most important engagement is the present 24 hours. Think of a day as a container. Right now your container is fragile, cracked, and can only hold so much. If you try to pour the ocean of your long-term problems into it, it will shatter and you will be left drowning. Your job is to only fill it with what it can hold, the contents of this one day. When you wake up, your only mission is to navigate the next 16 or so hours. That's the entire scope of your responsibility. You are not responsible for solving everything today. You are not responsible for figuring out your entire future before lunch. You are only responsible for this single, manageable unit of time. And within that day, you will find moments where even that feels like too much. The weight will press down, the panic will rise, and the thought of enduring the next 8 hours will feel insurmountable. This is when you shrink your world even further. Drop the day. Just focus on the next hour. Can you get through the next 60 minutes? Can you sit in this meeting, or watch this episode of a show, or simply breathe in and out for the next hour? If the hour is too long, then make it 10 minutes. Find a quiet room, set a timer on your phone, and give yourself the sole task of surviving just those 10 minutes. And if even that is too vast, then you bring it down to the most fundamental unit of life itself, the breath. You are not trying to survive the year. You are trying to survive this single inhalation. And then this single exhalation, in and out. Nothing else exists in that moment but the air moving in and out of your body. This is the ultimate act of shrinking your world, retreating to the citadel of your own body, to the one automatic process that continues even when your mind is in chaos. Every small action you complete within this shrunken world is a victory of monumental importance. We are conditioned to celebrate the big things, the promotion, the wedding, the new house. But in survival mode, the metrics of success are completely recalibrated. Getting out of bed when every fiber of your being is screaming to stay under the covers is a victory. Brushing your teeth is a victory. Drinking a full glass of water is a victory. Heating up a can of soup and eating 3 spoonfuls is a victory. These are not trivialities. They are the essential foundational acts of rebuilding a life. They are the psychological equivalent of laying a single brick. On its own, it seems insignificant, but you cannot build a wall without it. Each one of these tiny, insignificant acts is a quiet, powerful declaration to the universe and, more importantly, to yourself: I am still here. You have not erased me. This philosophy of micro-survival does several profound things. First, it bypasses the paralysis of overwhelm. The brain, when faced with an unsolvable problem, shuts down. But when faced with a simple, achievable task, I will walk to the mailbox and back, it can engage. It creates a tiny surge of dopamine, the neurotransmitter of accomplishment, which fuels the next small step. Second, it builds a new narrative of competence. Right now, the story you tell yourself is likely one of failure and helplessness. I can't handle this. But when you string together a day of small victories, you create a counter-narrative. I made my bed. I fed myself. I answered 1 email. I handled today. This is evidence-based as resilience. You are not just telling yourself you are strong. You are collecting tiny, irrefutable pieces of proof. So when the walls are caving in, do not ask, how will I ever get through this? That question has no answer and it will destroy you. Instead, ask the only question that matters in this shrunken, manageable world. What is the very next thing I need to do? It might be to put 1 foot on the floor, then the other. It might be to pick up the phone and call 1 person. It might be to write 1 sentence. That is your entire universe. That single simple action. Master that moment and then turn your attention to the next one. This is how you cross the desert, not by staring at the distant, shimmering end, but by focusing on the next step and then the next, trusting that the accumulation of steps, of breaths, of small victories will eventually and inevitably lead you to a new horizon, one you are finally ready to face. There is a particular kind of madness that sets in when you feel you have lost all control. It's a dizzying, nauseating sensation, as if the very floor of your life has turned to water and you are constantly, desperately trying to find your balance, only to be met with another wave that knocks you off your feet. The big things, the job, the relationship, the health, the security, have been ripped from your grasp, and with them, the illusion that you are the author of your own story has been shattered. This feeling of powerlessness is perhaps the most corrosive element of a crisis. It doesn't just damage your present situation, it attacks your core identity, making you believe you are fundamentally incapable of steering your own ship. This is why the second rule of survival is not to try and reclaim the entire ocean. It is to find 1 square foot of solid ground and to stand on it unwaveringly. What does this mean in a practical sense? It means you must consciously, deliberately identify 1 tiny, manageable aspect of your existence that you can still command, and you must exercise that command with the focus of a master craftsman. When the external world is in chaos, you must create a small pocket of order. This is not an act of escapism, it is an act of war. It is a direct, defiant confrontation with the chaos, a statement that, while it may have taken much, it has not taken everything. Your will remains. Your ability to choose remains, even if its scope has been dramatically reduced. This square foot of solid ground can be anything, so long as it is yours to control. It could be the ritual of making your morning coffee. Not just gulping it down, but doing it with intention. Grinding the beans, noticing the aroma, pouring the hot water slowly, watching the dark liquid swirl into your cup. For those 5 minutes, the universe is reduced to this 1 task. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are a barista, an alchemist, creating a perfect small thing. It could be the organization of a single bookshelf, arranging the spines by color or by author, creating a tiny spectrum of order against the backdrop of your disordered life. It could be the meticulous care of a single houseplant, wiping the dust from its leaves, ensuring its soil is moist bearing witness to its stubborn, silent growth. It could be the 10-minute walk you take every day, where you decide the route, where you notice the cracks in the pavement, the shape of the clouds, the feel of the air on your skin. On that walk, you are not lost. You are an explorer of a known world, a sovereign ruler of your own two moving feet. The power of this practice lies not in the action itself, which may seem trivial to an outside observer, but in its psychological resonance. Every time you complete one of these controlled, intentional acts, you are sending a powerful signal to the deepest, most frightened parts of your psyche. You are building a new evidence file to replace the one that screams, "You are helpless." The new file contains small but undeniable proofs. I control this space. I impose this order. I make this choice. Each completed act is another brick laid in the foundation of your recovering sense of self. It is a quiet, consistent rehearsal for eventually retaking control of larger and larger areas of your life. This square foot becomes your sanctuary, your anchor point. When the storm of anxiety or grief hits with full force, and you feel yourself beginning to drown in the overwhelming vastness of it all, you must have a place to retreat to. You can't calm the entire storm, but you can retreat to your prepared position. You can say to yourself, "I cannot stop this pain, but I can go and clean that one kitchen counter until it shines. I can sharpen all the pencils in the drawer. I can fold this pile of laundry with perfect, crisp corners. In that small, defined space, you are safe. In that space, you are competent. In that space, you are in charge. The chaos rages outside, but here, in your square foot, there is purpose and there is peace." It is a breathing space, a momentary ceasefire that allows you to gather your strength. This process also teaches you the nature of control itself. Before the crisis, you may have labored under the illusion that control was about managing vast, complex systems, your career, your family, your future. The collapse revealed that to be a fiction. Now you are learning a more profound, more resilient truth. Real control is not broad but deep. It is not about having your hands on every lever of a gigantic machine, but about having absolute, unwavering mastery over one single, simple thing. It is the control of a monk over his breath, of a carpenter over his chisel, of a gardener over her trowel. This is a control that cannot be taken from you by external events because it is internal, intentional, and focused on the present moment. It is a discipline. So, when you feel yourself being swept away, do not flail against the current, trying to grasp at everything you've lost. You will only exhaust yourself. Instead, stop, look around in your immediate vicinity, in the room you are in the next hour of your day. Find one thing, just one that you can command. It doesn't have to be important. It just has to be yours. And then pour your entire being into the mastery of that one single thing. Make that coffee. Organize that drawer. Water that plant. Walk that path. In doing so, you are not just performing a chore. You are performing a sacred act of self-reclamation. You are planting your flag on a tiny island and declaring, "Here, I am still me. Here I am still standing. And from this solid ground, I will begin to rebuild my world."